Welcome back to the brighter side of blues. No Danny tonight.
Yay.
He's on.
Just kidding.
But the Worldwide podcast, I think Danny likes to mention that, so I'll have to mention that as his replacement. The Worldwide podcast. Tonight we have with us, and I am Tommy.
I'm Czech.
I'm JJ. I'm third man again. JJ. I'm JJ.
Producer Jen.
It's all right.
Chuck
It's
comes in.
okay.
He's a new guy, and I still got to go third.
We almost made him the host again,
Yeah,
but he just got back from vacation. You know, Danny went on vacation. Danny is in
He's always on vacation.
the Grand Tetons, hiking with his wife Denise, and so they John. They got all kinds of stuff they got planned, don't they?
Real long hikes through the mountains, 26-mile bicycle rides, whitewater rafting, no
Okay,
drinking.
that's a vacation.
and
The whitewater rafting.
And no pickleball.
That
No
sounds like
pickleball.
the hiking sounds miserable to me.
Sounds
Yeah.
like they'll be in traction.
That sounds
when
like
they
work.
return.
No,
When I-
whitewater
A lot of times
rafting.
when I
would be
feel like going hiking, I lay down. I get that urge. I lay down until the urge goes away. What do you think?
I agree. I'd rather
No.
be in the basement of
And then
Columbus.
Yes.
where's that? It's in Yellowstone Park, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Yellowstone adventure, I guess.
Well, Denise is a exercise. I mean, she trains people for crying out loud.
Yeah, she used to train everybody down at the academy when we were
Right.
in the.
She still does it,
I was
though.
in the academy.
I think in honor of Dan being gone, we should have done this show from Jellystone Park. A little campground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our Francis Park.
Yeah, the hike is
Park.
18 steps to the latrine is the hike.
Yeah. There you go.
And then when we told Chuck that Danny was stepping out, and you just got back from vacation,
I did.
Where were you?
Cabo. Cabo for a week.
Cabo for
It
a
was
week.
Good time.
Good
Yeah.
time.
All adults,
She's saying you don't like it.
inclusive. It was good. Yeah. I'd go back. I'd recommend it. Yeah.
And then JJ, you're going on vacation, ain't you?
Where are
Maybe.
you going, JJ?
Florida.
Which part?
Would you say
Pensacola.
maybe? Why
Okay.
maybe?
I wouldn't jinx it. There's sharks and shit swimming around down there now.
Yeah. They're
Yeah, they
closing
don't have to be-
beaches down.
Do not trifle with them.
No, it's
Do
in
not
Pensacola.
trifle with them.
Pensacola. I go every year.
Okay.
You've been there, Tom?
Yes, we used to go quite often as
Right.
a large group. My family, your family.
We need to redo that. Your kids would love it.
Yeah, there'd be like 90 people there now. We used to have like 50.
That was
That'd be
enough,
pretty-
yeah.
That'd be pretty big nowadays. Well, one of the things that unfortunately Jimmy's got some bad news. Friend of the family's, but and somebody that that a lot of our listeners are familiar with that are friends of Jimmy's.
Yep.
And why don't you give him a shout out?
Bobby Peters, he's a legend in his own. I mean, he really is just a great guy. He's my father-in-law's best friend, like a brother to him. I just left the wake, did a change on the fly. Be meeting up with him again later on. The family, the Michaels, and everyone. We're going back to Hessler's to have another cap beer or two, and then
Yeah, that enough.
no, got to go back there. It was cool that Lisa said, "Go ahead and get out of here and do your podcast." And I saw tons of people, talked to all of them, and then got there early. And now I'm here.
Now you're going to see him later.
He
Yep.
was with Pepsi, right?
Pepsi for shit out of
Gazillion
it forever.
years.
Yeah, He
Yeah.
got all kinds of awards.
Yeah,
He
you're
was a big
familiar
star.
with him too, right, Tommy, from the pipe
Oh,
fitters?
yeah.
He was a well-known. He knew every political person. Buzz Westfall was his best friend, one of his good friends.
Right.
Just he was who he knew everybody.
Yeah.
So-
He replaced Ron Klein's father, Bud Klein, who was with Pepsi forever.
Ron Klein, the
Yeah,
sergeant,
our-
the retired
yeah,
sergeant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. His father was Bud Klein, and Mr. Peters. When Bud retired, Mr. Peters
Okay.
filled that position with Pepsi. Yeah. But a very well-respected guy.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them, Bud and
Yep,
Mr.
my father-in-law's
Peters.
was like a brother to my father-in-law Pete, and he
Yeah.
is just not doing that well. He says
Pete.
he's struggling with it. Yep.
He lived at, how old was he, Jimmy?
Oh, 83 or 84.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, his two boys, Norm and Bobby, are great guys.
Yeah.
They're having a hard time with it too. But
I bet.
Never
let's
easy to deal with.
let's go to cheer
All
your
right, let's
topic.
coming up, though, we got Gus coming up. Gus Torregrossa. Yeah, drinks to
Yeah.
drinks to
Mr. Peters.
Mr. Peters.
Cheers.
But we've got an interview with Gus Torregrossa coming up, and we'll set it up later in the show. But it was quite the interview, and buckle in because this is going to be a long show.
He didn't even
His
know.
interview alone was about, what, an hour?
He shut me out in the very beginning.
Were you even here? Yeah.
He turned his back to me. I talked one time and his head snapped around like, where's that coming from, dude?
Who's this guy?
Yeah.
And we'll set it up a little bit more as we go.
You got to watch it. He says something
dude,
really
listen.
funny about Tommy. Made us all laugh.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
But I got bad news.
Uh-oh.
YSL. You haven't been following the last couple shows. You've been on vacation.
Right.
But there's this YSL trial going on with Young Thug. And Young Thug is he's on a RICO trial with 6 other gangsters. And
Okay.
so a lot of the listeners are up to date on this. But unfortunately, the trial's on indefinite hold. Come on.
Well, they're going to get a new judge. They're going to start over.
Well, what happened was that the judge, that when they did a motion of recusal, the judge said, no, we're not going to do that. Well, they ruled that another judge has to listen to that before it goes forward. So now we're on complete hold. We had a correspondent ready to jump in.
She's not going to be able to come on for a while.
So now we got to, I mean, I'm sure there will still be news coming out of this. Like one of the things that happened over the weekend, Woody's buddy, Tay, he got killed. So he, and then there's a big thing. Did they kill him?
I don't think Jack's been listening to the podcast. He has no idea what we're talking about.
No, I heard the Woody one.
But
Yeah,
the Woody,
Yeah.
But you got to understand, this is.
You guys are international.
Oh,
man.
these guys are.
It's the most
fantastic.
unprofessional courtroom.
Oh.
It's a state case RICO trial. It's just unreal how this.
Really?
Oh, it's crazy. I've never been in a trial where I saw just the chaos that goes on, and they don't have no. I mean, it's crazy.
Witness,
You just got to watch
witness
it.
after witness. It's just they're making a mockery.
Mockery is
of
a
the
good
justice
word.
System.
That's a good word,
But
mockery.
it is entertaining. Like the judge, they call him Uncle Phil because he looks like the Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince.
Right.
So all the guys doing the updates call him Uncle Phil. But I had to find an update since we had a. But the guy that did our update last week, and it is on social media, he's Smackaville de Don. And he's just funny. He's got to be a comedian, I would imagine, because he updates other stuff. Because now I follow him.
Right.
But go ahead and play that, John.
Oh my God. He outside in somebody pool and y'all working in there with no AC. Come on now. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. And then Steele brought something up. They say the boy Nut had got unalive because he was taking something from somebody that he shouldn't have been taking. State ain't like that. State said, y'all can't say that in here. They said, why? State said, that's going to mess with his character. Character? These are street niggas. Ain't no character. That's all we got for today. We'll finish this up tomorrow.
Hey, didn't they have one of the videos show him like a drug deal? Actually, they gave him drugs in the court, and I handed it off to him.
Yeah, there was it was a Percocet.
That's it.
It was a
That's
Percocet.
right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, one of the guys. And there's been another attorney that was locked up in it that was defending a YSL member that wasn't caught up in this RICO. But she interjects herself into this RICO and does something, and she gets locked up. It's just been wild, and I'm disappointed that it's on hold. I don't know what I'm going to do.
How long?
I'm
Did
gonna
they say? How long?
indefinitely until
Oh,
they rule on
indefinitely.
whether this judge screwed up enough to get it a mistrial.
Okay.
Now, the one question I have, and I'm sure the lawyers, if we don't have any in the room right now, but does Woody still get immunity on
New case?
it? Like, can they go back and go, well,
Didn't
now
the
we're
Supreme
gonna
Court
try
just rule on
good-
that yesterday on immunity?
for the president?
Well, I thought it kind of encompassed everybody.
Woody is the president of the YSL gang, though. So.
Yeah, and he was doing
Yeah,
his official
exactly.
capacities. It was in the official capacities of his duty.
I think they can work that in there.
I'm telling you, presidential Woody.
They'll make that
kind of,
argument.
I'd go with Woody.
Hey, I'd ask you. Hawk 2, spit on that thing.
Oh,
You
here
get
we
me,
go.
dude.
Here we
I
go.
thought it was one of the funniest things. Is it getting old now?
It
People,
is.
It is getting
It
old.
is.
But you
Even
can-
on my TikTok where I get those, I don't even pay attention to it anymore.
Right.
But it is kind of rocking. And so Jack that was a hint to you, JJ, that Jack is not proud of the way you were talking into that mic.
Is that true, Jack?
Yeah, even on my
So-
TikTok, that Hawk 2 is getting a little sick. Did you?
I think of her parents.
She don't care.
She's only 20.
You know what I'm
She
saying?
went on
She was drunk.
She was on Luke Bryan's stage
She seems
singing
to be
with him.
fun. funny.
All right.
Oh, she looks a lot of fun.
I thought I knew you guys better. I really. I just thought
I
of
loved
her
it. I thought it was
We
a
were gonna
funny.
bring
I
up
thought
one
her
show.
parents.
So when we brought it up a couple shows ago, it was like the fourth thing on the list of the stuff we were going to talk about.
Right.
The show just kicked off, and he's over there hawk tuing right
Dude,
off the bat.
I'm not the only one. There's millions and millions of people thought it was funny too. I liked it, but it is kind of getting old.
Yeah, that's three.
Yeah.
And on the video I put out, I think there's like 3.2 million views, and just the comments got to be like 5,000.
Really?
It's crazy.
Well, I saw an interview with her that she's going to do her own podcast now, and people are
dude.
picking her up. And
I
She
saw
was at
the
the Luke Bryan concert.
I didn't
the
think
other
she was
night.
that good of an interview. I thought she's kind of goofy.
no, I agree.
But she's 21.
I agree.
With
Exactly.
with no training on
Right.
how
Maybe
to
she'll
do
get
this
good.
stuff.
I hope she makes $1 million. I hope she
Just
gets
$1
rich.
million?
No, I hope she makes it big.
Millions.
Millions.
What is her microphone going to look like?
She has training.
Oh, dude.
She'll be spitting on
I
it.
knew it was coming.
Here we go.
Here we
We
go.
knew this would unravel.
All right, let's
I knew
get
it. I looked over at John and I saw
Let's-
it.
let's change
Here
that.
it comes. It's coming. Something's coming. Right.
All right, we're going to move on, and now we're going to go to JJ Zen. But JJ,
Yeah.
you got competition this week. We got a street Zen. We got a street
I'm
Zen
gonna crush
waiting
him.
to see what your Zen. So we're going to put you up against a street Zen. Go ahead.
The difference between successful people
And the guy with big ears.
and big ears.
big
No,
ears.
the difference between successful. All right, let me start over.
JJ,
Fuck.
you tried so
not
hard. No,
starting
I
over.
appreciate
The
your
difference
Let's
between
start
successful people and others is not strength, lack of strength, not the lack of yeah, fuck. I gotta read it. I started too early, boys.
That's all right.
All right.
Way better.
Just read it.
It's already way better.
Just read it.
The difference between successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. Let me do it one more time.
Nice. Yeah, please.
Please.
The difference between a successful person and others is not the lack of strength, not the lack of knowledge, but rather the lack of will. Will is a smart son of a gun, I guess. I don't know. He's pretty.
Better have.
I wonder who the hell Will is too, but he's pretty.
That's a good one.
Lack of will.
Who said that?
I have a feeling.
Go ahead.
Let's ask the audience.
They're silent. Tommy, what do you got?
Should I say it?
Do you think you know it?
If you think you know.
Vince Lombardi.
Nope.
Come on. No, man, no, it's Vince Lombardi.
It's Vince Lombardi.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
two for-
Yeah.
You know
You're
what?
2 for
You know,
2.
I
Both
blame
shows.
I am 2
I
for
blame
2.
Tom Walsh
Yeah.
on this. Tom Walsh in the crowd. He's eyeballing me like he wants to punch me, and so
You got nervous?
well, yeah, I took his beer away
we
from
got
him.
an extra camera for that.
I took a beer away from him, and so he was like, "You want to get your arms broke?" So he's been eyeballing me mad. So that's why
You tried to
threw you
remember.
off.
You
I did.
tried to
Threw
you
remember
off.
it.
I had
Again.
it. I had
He
it.
tried
He needs
so
to
hard.
just
I
read
know.
them. He just needs to just read them. He
I
tries
had
to
it.
remember these long ones.
JJ had a long day.
I did.
He
did.
is. Yeah, he's
Hey.
been emotional.
Yeah.
It's
Hey
been
Jack,
an emotional day.
I'm asking you, Jack, clean it up.
That ain't happening. That ain't
No way,
happening.
Jose.
So here's Jimmy's competition for
That's
the week.
bullshit.
So here is the street Zen. We'll see. We'll be putting this up on a poll
Well,
later
now-
this week.
I know a lot of you hating me to fail, but guess what? It ain't happening. You know why? Because I got a microwave on my head.
That is great. That
Actually,
is great.
I'm gonna lose this
I have
one.
a feeling you,
That's a
you might
good
not
one.
do good on
I'm
this.
not
That
gonna
is
do good on
good.
that one, especially I screwed it up. But that was good. I'm gonna probably say that one next week.
You did good.
That's one of the reasons I
Is that
like social
downtown
media.
St. Louis?
Right.
That's one of the reasons I like social media is because I mean, that kid is funny. I don't know how you come up with that, but that was funny.
It wasn't. Didn't look like a kid.
I think somebody dropped a microwave out of like a 10-story window.
I love the fact that he slammed the door shut and then
With
pulls
just-
it, drives
that?
off.
That was slick.
We go from Vince Lombardi to that.
Dude,
that was pretty good.
It was funny.
He
It
was
was
right
good.
on the money. With
He
that.
nailed it.
Yeah.
I bet he only did one take on that. Oh
You
well.
did all right. You had a
was
long
good.
day, JJ.
But JJ, you mentioned a fundraiser last week.
Yes, and without me screwing this up, the Hero Network, we got Paul Drago.
That's
Sorry.
Can we hear it for Paul?
Hey, matter of fact, we're just talking about his.
So Paul's going to have my mic, and he's going to tell you about the fundraiser they're having for the Heroes Network, and it's in the honor of his son.
July 14th at the Italian American Bocce Club on the Hill is a benefit in honor of my son who passed away in July 16th of 2021. We're going to play some bocce there. We're going to have some bags outside. We're going to drink a lot of beer. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry, and we're going to celebrate Vinny's 22 years on this earth. So all the benefits of this will go to the St. Louis Hero Network. If you're not familiar with the St. Louis Hero Network, it was started by Charlie Metzner, who is a St. Louis City fireman, and some colleagues. They support everyone that are first responders and veterans. Over the last 5 years, they've raised over $870,000.
Wow.
And that money goes directly to first responders or veterans. We have some great auction items there every year. So I hope everybody can come out. Again, it's at the Italian American Bocce Club. July 14th, it's from noon to 6 p.m. So I hope to see you there. Come down, have some fun, and enjoy a good time.
Hey, Paul, real quick.
Perfect.
Yes.
Vinny is your son. He was a veteran, right?
Yeah, my son served in the 82nd Airborne Division, and then he came home and started a career with Concrete Strategies as a concrete finisher, and died in a tragic car accident on the infamous River de Pere.
No.
We all know about River de Pere. So.
Absolutely.
Great event, great.
Keeping his
really,
name.
Really great items to auction off too.
We have some huge ones. We got there's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo in Gulf Shores. You get 5 nights stay there. There's about 3 weeks to pick from next year. It's a $25 raffle ticket. It's about a $5,000, $6,000 value.
Wow,
and
nice.
then we also have another condo down right outside of Destin that will go for silent auction. And then, obviously we have booze basket and beer and all kinds of other things that come down. We have some really good rounds. We got a bunch of them. So it's there's some really good items down there. Come down and hope you have a good time. Hope to see you there.
Thanks.
Good job, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Good
And
work.
then this is going to be released on Saturday morning, so that'll be the following Sunday. That's this Sunday. And so a lot of our
That's good
listeners
job.
do the Saturday thing, and when we release it on Sunday. So if you're listening to this and you want something to do and you don't have nothing to do that day, shoot on down to the Bocce Club and enjoy a good time. I'm sure the beer will be flowing and the stories will be
We have an address. Did
outstanding.
he have an address by chance?
Of what?
The Bocce Club. Where it's located.
Google it.
Look it up. Okay.
Danny, what's the address?
like it.
Google it.
Paul, what's the address?
Paul. Oh my God, JJ.
Where's
You know what's
Huggy?
funny? Yeah.
2210 Marconi.
Say it again.
2210 Marconi.
2210 Marconi.
On the hill.
2210
Together. Ready?
Right.
1, 2, 3.
2210 Marconi.
Marconi.
And just so you know, Dan Drago is the president of the Bocce Club.
That's why I was screwing up. 'Cause I kept seeing it.
Yeah, call him Paul.
You're way better looking. I'm sorry about that, dude.
So next, what we're
That's
going to
good.
get into is the St. Louis Blues. So as many people know, and especially police officers, is that the Blues and the police have had really special relationships over the years. From the personal relationships of policemen and the players, and then the real special relationships, with Mike Caruso and Jimmy Mayer. And of course, Mike passed away recently. Jimmy Mayer still works with them through the NHL. Both Jimmy was a former policeman and Mike just retired. But over the years, the police officers and John and Chuck have worked for the NHL, for the Blues, for how many years, guys?
20 plus.
20 plus, yeah. Yeah.
And JJ, you've had some experiences with some Blues
Yes.
players, and
Yep.
we all have. And when we really and we're going to start trying to get some Blues players in. I think we got our first one
We do.
coming in. We'll hold
That's it.
back on the name, or you want to say the name?
Jim Campbell is going to come in. He married a friend of mine named Jennifer Bradley, and her son. She's got 4 sons, all hockey players. The oldest, Connor, just graduated from Lindenwood, and he is got a degree in, guess what?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
Yep. Yeah. But anyway, he's coaching hockey now.
JJ can't fool Chuck.
Damn it, Chuck. But she got the 2 of her sons they're all really good hockey players. Chase was drafted by the Detroit Red Wings in 2020. He just got signed by Avalanche, Colorado
I
Avalanche.
think you're
Yeah.
taking all their thunder when they come
All
on the
right,
show.
we can cut all this out. But anyway,
No,
they're coming on. They're excited, and she was all cool about it. She said, yeah, he'd love to come on, and he's a big backstoppers guy and really nice guy. So he coached the kids. So I think it'd be cool to have him on.
And then John and I
Absolutely.
were talking about how we could do a blues thing, and there was so many stories that you just can't do them in one show. So we're going
Right.
to try to just whenever we can, we'll have a blues player on.
Right.
We'll have somebody, one of the policemen, tell their stories about being with the blues players, and it usually involves a lot of alcohol. But we have a couple stories that I want Tommy to start off with his, and this was when you were at Czech, where you were working security for the NHL, weren't you?
Yeah, I forget what year it was, but the Calgary Flames were. Do you know, John? Or you remember? You know this.
I was at the game. But I wasn't working.
Okay.
Bob Marlowe and I were watching.
Bob.
And I knew you were in trouble as soon as the incident occurred.
Yeah, so I'm filling in. Jimmy had to take off. I'm working the game, and it was a great game. The Blues were at the top of the standings, and they're playing the Calgary Flames. And Calgary was horrible, maybe the worst team in the league at the time, or if not pretty close to it. So they go, it's either at the end of the regulation time, near regulation time, or it was in overtime. And part of our duties were to greet the officials off the ice and make sure they get to the locker room in a safe manner, and then escort them to the car afterwards. So I'm down where the Zamboni comes out and where the officials exit, and right in front of me, again, I can't remember if it was regulation time or in overtime, Theo Fleury has a semi-breakaway going in to score.
He was quick.
A little fast guy. So one of our defensemen tries to lift his stick and misses and hits him in the face and cuts him. He goes down in a pool of blood, crashes into the boards. The Blues retrieve the puck, go down, and score for the win. And John, if I'm wrong, interrupt.
No, exactly.
Bad
Well,
reffing.
At that time, Brian Sutter, former St. Louis Blues player, was the head coach of the Calgary Flames. I thought, this is not good, and he's throwing sticks, the Gatorade bottles on the ice, and the whole bit. Well, these officials come off the ice, and they said, "Hey, Tommy, get the tape of that one." I said, yeah, this isn't going to be good. So we walk back to the officials' locker room, and I'm in the locker room with them, and they said, "Did we miss it?" And I said, "You missed it."
This is before they could do instant replay, though.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It was before.
Way before that.
Wait, okay, all right. So
In game.
we get the
In-game, right.
We get the tape. We bring it down. Well, I can hear Sutter coming down the hallway screaming, and he's banging on that door.
He's mad.
He's pissed off, man. He got a good game out of a bad team playing one of the top teams in the league at the time. So I get it. And they missed the call. So he knew better than to cross that threshold into the officials' locker room. So I open up the door. And of course, the officials didn't want anything to do with him.
Heck no.
So I said, "Hey, coach," I go, we're getting the tape. Well, I wasn't even there. He's yelling at the line official over my shoulder. He's spitting, he's foaming, he's cussing, and the whole bit. And these guys are just taking it, and I go, "Coach, just calm down." Right? Now this is my hero growing up. All of ours. Brian Sutter.
He's
I
an
mean,
intense man too. Even on
yeah, he's a winner.
Right.
He's a winner.
He was our captain for years.
He was our captain, and he was our guy growing up. So I'm thinking, holy shit, this guy, here's my hero growing up with the Blues, and here I am pushing him back out of the room. So he goes on and on with his rant. He would not go away. Then finally, he says to the official that missed the call, he said, "You're a liar and you're a cheat and you're the reason the officials have a bad name in this league." Well, that was it. that guy stood up.
Oh, he
Now
mad
he wants
too?
a piece of Sutter.
Oh,
Sutter.
everybody mad.
That's a bad
He
idea.
moved me out of the way. Now the linesmen hop up, and he's in the room, and they want to go at it, and we're holding everybody back. So we get him out of the room. The linesmen keep their guy back. I get Sutter down the hallway, and then he killed me. He crushed me. And he turned around and he called me a name.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I said.
The
poor
check?
Chuck.
Yeah, he called me a
come
name.
on.
I'm not going to repeat it.
You know,
but
everybody
it was
likes
not
you.
good. So, any rate, off he goes. He's pissed off.
You took down your poster then? Went home, tore that poster right off that
was
wall.
it. Sutter's out. That's it. So the next night, I'm at my house and the phone rings, hard line, and here it's Brian Burke from the NHL. And he said, Tom, let's talk about this incident last night. So I told him, and I said, hey.
You snitched him out?
No, I said, I get why he was
You
pissed.
snitch.
No, I didn't snitch. I did not snitch him out. I told him what happened. I said, he's a competitor,
Right.
and I get why he was upset. So later I found out that there was some bad blood between Brian Sutter and the guy that missed the call, and this thing had been brewing, and
Next thing you know.
they put him in a room together in a road trip down and just they talked it out. And
Perfect.
That
Good.
was the end of it.
Good. I got to
But
cheer.
hey, can I? You were talking about blues and what good guys they are. If you don't mind, I'd like to add one more story.
Absolutely.
I got one too, but go ahead.
So this is pretty cool though. So and Tommy Walsh, who's with us this evening, he's worked all these games and he knows these guys better than we do. But and Tommy, if I'm wrong on this, hop in. But when the Blues
I don't think he
left
can hop anymore.
from, he can't hop anymore.
I don't think so.
Why you got to go?
Limp over.
Why you got to make?
Limp.
He already wants to kick your ass.
We might get our first ass beat
sorry.
on the
He's-
show.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
So
Yeah, I got to go out the back way, but go ahead.
So when they moved from Oakland downtown, they stopped the beer in the police room.
Oh,
And then in the old place on Oakland, Kelly Chase and Brett Hall used to hang out with our guys, drink beer, let traffic die out, so on and so forth. And they went into the new arena. I don't know what they called it back then, but
It was a Kiel Center when it first opened.
was it okay?
Yeah.
The Kiel Center.
John knows.
I said, "Where's the beer?" And they said, "Oh, we cut that off." And those guys ordered beer up for every game. Is that right, Tommy? And then paid for it. And,
I heard those stories.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
cool.
well, I'm sorry.
No, that's
You
cool.
had to
No,
hear it again.
I didn't mean like that.
No,
But
that's
I heard
all
that they
right.
were.
No, this is your show. I'm just a guest.
No, I heard that they were really cool about it.
Yeah, they
That's
were.
pretty cool.
Johnny's got a couple good, cool pictures that he found. Here's one of him and then Chexter
Oh wow.
with Al McGinnis, Hall of Famer,
Jeff
Courtnall.
Courtnall.
Yeah, there was some ceremony that night. I think it was maybe Brett Hall or some.
Somebody's
But
number
we,
was being retired. Yeah.
Well, there's nobody better now. McInnes, the nicest.
Yes.
His son's a policeman.
Yeah,
He's
St.
actually
Louis County?
yeah,
Carson.
Carson. He's friends with my son. They work
Yeah.
baseball games
Great.
together.
Yeah,
He's a character.
I remember him growing up. And Jeff Courtnall was always like the most fun guy to hang out with after the game. 'Cause, well, back then we were more like the same age as the players. You know, when you get older, they don't even know your name. You know,
Why,
they're-
why I want to hang with this dude?
Yeah, but I remember one time we went down to train wreck on the landing. That's where the players used to hang out after the game. And Courtnall came up and said, "Hey, you guys want to go down to the train wreck after the game?" Because we were working, we were in our suits and stuff. So yeah, sure, let's go. So he goes, "I'll be right back." Well, he comes back with 3 6-packs, one for Tom, one for me, and one for him.
That's right.
We're like, "Jeff, it's only like 9 blocks down the landing."
We're good.
He goes, "Just drink them, man."
Yeah, and we did.
That's a
we
good
did.
one. One of them-
Here, these guys, what they do also, the St. Louis County Police Chief, they have a fundraiser for the Police Foundation, and it's breakfast with the chief. The city has lunch with the chief. But at the breakfast with the chief in St. Louis County, Al McGinnis, of course, Brett Hall, Kelly Chase, Keith Kachuk. They volunteer their time and come down and they do a little question answer,
Right.
tell stories like we're doing. And these hockey players, especially the Blues, so pro police, and
Right.
the things they do for us is just unbelievable. Chris Pronger. Prongs is one of those guys that
Right.
Kelly Chase,
Kelly Chase,
Hall. I mean, there's stories about
they just get it.
those guys boozing with policemen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen. It's not like, they call each other up on the phone. Hey, what's going on? I mean, but when they see each other out, they will the Blues will acknowledge the fact that they see you down at the stadium
working.
or the arena all the time
Right.
working, and they'll walk right up to you and drink with you and have a great conversation. And next thing you know, you're 3 hours into it.
Sure.
And I think you guys had that with Bobby Plager up in
Well, that's right.
one of those
Oh,
games.
man.
Yeah, in the alumni suite, that one.
That was a good one.
It was about 4 hours after the game. Just listen to Bobby Plager stories. I wish I could remember a third of them, but just
And he went out with us
character.
afterwards.
Yeah, weren't you guys in there and all the lights on the whole
The
stadium?
cleaning
or the whole
crew
arena?
was
Well, our car was parked on 14th Street
at an angle.
at an angle, because of the game. Well, the game had been over for 4 hours, so Tom's car's
It was a day game, right?
Yeah, it was a day game against Anaheim, I think, or something.
John was retired. I was still working. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm at work." He said, "I got an idea." I said, "What?" He said, "Why don't you take a half day and let's go to this matinee game?" I said, "You know what? I like that." So I did. Went home, dropped the police car off, got my car, picked Johnny up. Somehow we ended up in the alumni suite with the alumni. But then afterwards, it was John, myself, and Bobby Plager up there. And it was just one story after another.
We never talked.
No.
Kinda
Lights
like-
were off,
Kind
cleaning
of like
crew
JJ
was
and Gus.
just like JJ and Gus.
That's okay. Hey, I got good Bobby Plager stories and Chaser story.
Let's hear it.
Well, Guido, Crusoe, his nickname is Guido. He was a lieutenant at the time. He ran our soccer team, and we had a golf fundraiser every year called the Pig and Park.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd have actually roast a pig. But so we were at Forest Park when you're not trying to. I called young Crusoe see if he can remember the year, but it's in early 2000s maybe. So it's rain. It's not going to happen. It's just it just rained like crazy. They canceled the golf tournament. We still had a pig to roast. We were in a pavilion. Crusoe goes into the clubhouse and sees Bob Plager. He was supposed to be in a different tournament. So he brings Bob out, and it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. He sits down with us, and we all sit around in chairs where we're getting dry. The Dudley brothers are doing the pig, roasting the pig. And so he just starts telling stories. And we just, we're never going to leave. We're just going to sit here and let him tell stories. So he starts telling stories about when he coached Chase and all them guys back in the minors. Mm-hmm. And there's just unbelievable stories. So he calls Kelly Chase. And he says, yeah, he's coming. He's going to come down. I'm going to call Kelly, see if they'll come down. So he's coming. And they go, really? He goes, yeah, he just got off the plane. He was in Canada bear hunting.
Right.
He just got in. He just got off his flight. He said he'll meet us down. He went straight from the airport, showed up at Forest Park, and then held court with him. Those two told stories.
That's them.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, those
That's
guys
cool.
do that.
Fantastic.
They
Yeah.
love the police.
That's cool. And I had the story. You showed Al McInnes earlier, and John was working with you guys with the NHL security.
Mm-hmm.
And the season was over, and we're going back in the 90s, 95, 98, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And so the season was over, and they were going out for their end of the year party. All the Blues would go out all the players would go out for one last hurrah, and whatever you want to call it. And they went to the Have a Nice Day Cafe, and so we're just doing the security. They have their own little private little thing in the back, and in those days you could smoke inside. So I was smoking, and Al McInnes saw me smoking, and obviously it's their end of the year party, so they're going to let loose a little bit. I'm sure, obviously, Al didn't smoke because he didn't have any cigarettes. He saw I did. He's boozing, wants a cigarette. Cool. Comes over, asks me for a cigarette.
He's
Give
going
him
to
a
love that
cigarette.
story.
Oh, yeah.
Next thing is Chris Pronger comes over. He sees me and Al McInnes smoking. He comes over and he wants a cigarette. Sure. So there I am, just ripping darts with two Hall of Famers, two future Hall of Famers.
No wonder they lost.
They lost well before that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, that was the end of the season party, brother.
No,
they were
Gotcha.
done.
All right.
I'll just
We're letting it down a little bit.
I'll just say this. of all professional athletes, and I got to apologize to Eli Marrero, of all the professional athletes I've ever been around or had to do security for, they are the most down-to-earth athletes of all of them, no doubt about it.
Appreciative. They're
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
appreciative. And then when we were talking, talking to Jimmy Mayer, telling him, hey, we'd like to do this with the Blues, because the relationship has been so good in the stories. Maybe get some other stories other than our boring police stories or some of our boring police stories. Get some other stuff in there. And I think it'll be fun. And we're looking forward to having Jim Campbell on. And then Johnny's got this last picture, Hall of Famer, the other guy I was just talking about. That's John, Chris Pronger, and Tommy. Hall of Famer, Chris Pronger. There they are.
John, that was when they retired his number, Chris Pronger's number?
Yeah.
That was that evening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
that
here's
was good.
John with what's that guy's first name? His last name's Ham.
John Ham.
John Ham. I know. And he's a huge Blues fan, obviously.
Yeah,
Was
that was at
He's
the
St.
All-Star
Louis.
game.
He's from St. Louis.
that wasn't the Cup? I know he was at the Cup the whole time, too, wasn't
Yeah, this was the year after at the All-Star game.
Were both of you guys working when the Cup? Were you
Oh,
working?
yeah.
then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh, yeah.
guys did the Cup? What would your guys' duty on them, like those games?
They carried the cup out with white gloves, I think, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we found where it was stashed. They always hide it.
Hey,
But-
hey, Johnny, why don't you do the honors and give us the short version of when they retired Brett Hall's number and you and I were signed to Bobby Hall. That was a cool night.
It was a great night, and I'll give you the short version. But the thing was, we got to work, and then Jim Mayer, who's our boss, he's still there. He's probably one of the most respected, NHL security guys in the league. But he goes, I got an assignment for you guys, and I'm thinking like, we got to watch somebody's car or,
Right.
or something. He goes, you got the old man tonight, to Tom and I, and like the old man, who's that? He goes, Bobby. So we're like, oh, how hard could that be? So we meet. Bobby comes in. He's there early, and he comes in, and we say, Mr. Holt, what do you want to do? He goes, no, I'm Bobby. All this. He goes, so what do you want to? Where do you want to go? He goes, I need some bass. So I don't understand what you're talking about. He goes, I need some bass. And Tom's like,
If I can interrupt, Brett knew that we were going to be with his father that evening, and he just said, watch the red wine.
yeah.
You'll know what I'm talking about.
Well,
So-
by bass, he meant drinking bass. He goes, drinking bass. He goes, give me some bread and some pasta and all this stuff. So we took him upstairs and went through the buffet, but he had loaves of bread.
Yeah.
But he drank red wine. I always took him for like a Scotch guy or something like
Right.
that. But
Right.
I know Bob drank 4 bottles of wine that night, and we followed him around. He told us stories. He knew everybody in the place. But the thing I remember the most is at the end of the game, one of the equipment guys or somebody in the locker room knew that Bobby liked quail, and he was like a quail hunter. So he had these 2 boxes of quail.
Quails.
They're frozen, but they were in these cardboard boxes, and he had string on it.
Right.
Well, Bob was walking around with this quail for like an hour. Well, next thing you know, we'd lose Bob, but we could find him because we just followed the blood trail because they were thawing out, and even when we went down to the landing afterwards for the after party,
The train wreck.
again.
Right.
Bob was still walking around with this quail, and it
Well, he
was-
had the
it was a bloody
cooks
mess.
down there try to prepare him, or
Yeah, but just
After the game, Brett Hall says, "Where's my father?" And I said, "Well, he's around the corner here." And he sees his dad come out with these quails with blood dripping down the hallway. And Brett goes, "What the hell happened to my dad? What'd you do to this guy?" Nothing. He just had a good time
It was
tonight.
a great night with the legendary guy, and just,
Yeah.
he treated us like gold. Though we had a lot
he
of
did.
fun.
Here's where we missed Annie, the big toe. Because I didn't even mention where our studios are.
I ain't missing him.
I hear you, but we still got to. I missed the Columbos. We're in Columbos
no.
tonight.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Our
Oh,
Columbos
shit.
studio. I just passed that up.
There's a few things.
Just ignored it.
Yeah.
Just ignored the fact that
So we
Greg has
need
this-
Danny back,
has
as you're
the
saying.
Personality, or has the hospitality to have us down here, and I just
Well, we'd like to
does a
wait a
great
while
job.
till there's like the maximum
Right.
audience,
Right.
and then we hit them.
Or Greg right now. Greg's listening going, they haven't even mentioned me. Haven't even mentioned me.
What about
Here it is,
what about
baby.
Chickers?
Yeah, we're going to get to
getting
that,
to that.
too. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
See? Now you're just jumping ahead.
We're
But
all,
I screwed up.
It's all.
Like, dude, this
It's
is,
all.
It's you're emotional. That's okay. You had a pay.
He's had a rough day. He's
You're
had a rough day.
a very close friend has passed.
I'm just scared because Tom Walsh is
He's just
8 feet from me.
Because you keep
Getting
getting
closer too.
He keeps- See that look?
You took his beer. Took his beer.
Then you threw just a jab at him from over here. What's
all
he
right.
supposed to do? But now, but
all
you
right.
did say shit.
Let me just
Yeah.
hey, wait, real
Go
quick
ahead.
before you get to Shicker. Let me just describe Tom Walsh. He's 6'4". He probably goes up to 60. Is that good? 260, and he's mean.
Football player.
One of my favorite stories is
Football,
when,
baseball.
All right.
and this is Timmy Lockenick has been mentioned in other stories or other episodes, brother of Tony, and when we used to drink down at the Hilltop every Thursday night. Like many of you guys know, that this is how the podcast, the base of the podcast was our Thursday night drinking, and Timmy Lockenick was renowned for fucking with people, just messing with people, and he had decided that was the night he was going to mess with Tommy Walsh.
Oh boy.
So Tommy, and he did something that really, and I don't. Do you recall what he actually said that made you mad? But it was just the constant. It was a constant thing. I think it was a buildup. But anyway,
Roll of paper towels.
what was that?
Roll of paper towels.
Towels, and this is your tampon.
Oh man.
He said he rolled up paper towels and told him this is his tampon.
Jack will clean.
So now,
Oh, my God.
now Walsh now he's mad. So and Timmy can see he's mad, and then Timmy goes behind the bar and hides with Sally, the bartender, listener, and so he's just staying behind the bar the whole time. And this is getting late now, and Walsh just kept looking at him and says, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you." And then the drinks keep rolling, the drinks keep rolling, the drinks keep rolling, and now Timmy's let his guard down. And Timmy thinks that Tommy had forgot about this. Tommy don't forget. Tommy don't forget. And he came out there and he got him in the rib, something good. He got him in the just got to get one rib. It was just one quick rib shot.
And that was it.
Timmy went down. Timmy was down. But Timmy got his. He went on for 2 hours. Timmy did.
Let me just say this about Tom, and then on a good note with Tom.
Well, I hope so.
Actually, I can thank him, believe it or not, for my career in Mobile Reserve.
Really?
When they made it a big 50-man unit, I just had
It wasn't just about. So you needed help.
Well, let me just tell a story. I had 3 years on, just a little over 3 years and 3 months. They made Mobile the big unit that it was, 50-man unit. And Trevor, Sergeant Trevor, was buddies with him. Rick Trevor. He wanted Tom to come down there. Tom was, I ain't coming down. You know, like crabby bastard, I ain't coming down. And he won't admit this, but he says, I'll come down if you bring John or JJ down. And so Rick Trevor called me and says, hey, you going to come to Mobile? I said, why not? Yeah, sure. He goes, Tommy, you can ride with Tommy. I said, perfect. So we both got transferred into Mobile together, and I'll leave it at that. Some other circumstances happened. He got put on double secret probation for an incident, and I never actually rode with him, but he started my career down there. So I owe him a lot. And then, Tommy, I got your next bucket.
There you go.
Good
That's
move,
a good
JJ.
move. That's a good
Right.
move, JJ.
No, he did. I mean, seriously, I joke with him, but we're buddies, and
Absolutely.
he does.
Absolutely.
He'll never admit it, but he loves me, and
Doesn't
he does.
Doesn't everybody, JJ?
He just heard cussing right now, but
Doesn't everybody?
But he did. I gotta give him credit. He's the reason why I got down there. I would eventually got down there because I was a heck of a policeman,
Oh my God.
but but he helped me. He made it easy for me.
But hey, you know what? This thing, this whole podcast thing, and
It's only because I drank on Thursday nights with him. That's why.
Hilltop.
That's the only reason he liked me because
Hilltop.
and he knew I was a heck of a policeman.
Yeah, we heard it on the street.
All right, we got a lot to cut out of this thing.
no, we're good. We're
Is
good.
Gary working
We're
tonight?
good.
No, but Dave was.
JJ's code words.
Hey, what about our sponsor?
Yep. And see, Tommy knows the Shickers.
Yeah.
You
Oh, yeah.
you know
Yeah.
the Shickers.
Yeah.
And
Lisa-
that's how close the Shickers are to. I mean, you call a policeman in here, and they've either bought a car from a Shicker or know the Shickers because they're
Absolutely.
that solid in the neighborhood in South St. Louis, and they just love the police.
I bought a car from him too.
I bought a couple. My cousin Johnny Lozecki worked for him for 30 years down there. But any rate, Schicker Automotive Group, one of our sponsors, fantastic Southside family. Lisa and I grew up together, bummed together, same circle. Johnny Schicker, wonderful, knew his father, mother. But here's the really cool thing about what Schicker Automotive's doing. On the first Saturday of every month, if you come down and take a test drive of one of their vehicles, they'll make a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
That's cool.
That's very cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
they don't have to do that.
We,
So
we've told that story once.
make your way down to Schicker Automotive Group on South Kings Highway and take a test drive. And the
Yep.
first Saturday of every month, which will be
This Saturday.
this Saturday.
So when you're listening to it, go,
Yeah.
oh man, I got to get down to Shicker.
yeah.
Yeah,
How
am I supposed to?
I don't know when we're
And then you go in there and get one of those electric. What was that thing we drove in? The electric pickup truck.
You know, lightning or whatever.
Dude, that thing was.
And
that
if I
thing
can
was nice.
add, the Schicker family, Bill Schicker, Johnny Schicker, that whole family is nothing but pro-police.
All of them.
So is his
Ike,
son
everyone.
Alec too?
Alec, Ike, Ken
Yeah.
Plackey, Olivia.
Ken? Yep.
That they're total support of the police. So, any rate,
Paying
on
bills, baby.
Saturdays, get down there, take a test drive,
Yeah.
buy something.
Just get out of the house and go take a test drive.
No, buy a car.
And
take a
then
test
buy that
drive.
thing. Yeah. Test drive it and then buy that motherfucker.
We love the Schickers.
Tom's a high pressure salesman.
Right, no
You
kidding.
buy this car, I'll bash your head in this.
That's how.
Was the Jerky Boys, wasn't it?
Jerky.
You buy this car, I'm gonna bash your head in the grill.
I had a little trouble uptown.
Okay.
Can I throw something in?
This is going on and
Are
on.
we
Yeah, go
finished?
ahead.
Are we?
We're getting ready to wrap up, aren't we?
Oh, wait, we got a couple more things left.
All right, go ahead.
I just
There we
want
go.
to. I want to.
No.
Are we in a hurry or not?
I'm not. Go ahead, Tom.
So the Downtown Boys, it was the Pride Parade this weekend, and that's great, and it's a great group of people, and a huge crowd and what have you. But unfortunately, it was interrupted with some protesters,
It was.
and I just want to commend Chris Stamper, the District 4 guys. JJ, it wasn't your people.
SWAT was down there.
SWAT was down there, and the way they handled it, it took about an hour. There was an hour delay. They locked 19 people up. No complaints, nothing.
They
It was
got
just-
actually. My son actually wrote the report. Him and his partner Gavin, Jeff,
Yeah.
and they said once they start huffing them all, everybody started cheering.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
Why not? They
Right.
did a wonderful job.
I think
So
everybody's
anyway,
fed up
I
with
just
that
want to
stuff.
give a little shout out to Captain Chris Stamper, the commander of District 4, and the District 4 officers, and everybody
was
else
down
that
there.
was
The whole
involved
detail, yeah.
and took care of business there.
Damn
So
right.
That's
Very
it.
professional.
Yeah, very professional. No complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, come on.
Just wait.
Yeah,
Work with me.
that was good. They did a good job.
They did a great job. So anyway, that's all, Tommy.
No, that was
that's all I
good.
had.
That's a good point. Johnny, you got a newsroom?
I do. Is Patrick still here? Yep. Patrick, I don't think this guy is related to you, but if he is, please speak up. Bernard C. Welsh. He was a infamous.
That's WELCH.
Spelled exactly the same way
Okay.
as Patrick
All right.
was.
All right.
Grandfather.
He was known as a standard time burglar. He worked the East Coast. He was called a standard time burglar because he only worked in the winter because the nights were longer. He only hit at night. And he was, of course, he was a collectibles dealer, which is a perfect vocation for a burglar.
One more time. What was his profession?
A collectibles dealer in Virginia, but he worked the whole East Coast, and he liked to hit big time, just rich people. He didn't, he just he wasn't a cat burglar. So he ended up getting pinched for 3,300 burglaries.
3,300?
3,300 over like a decade. He, when they finally caught on to him and they did a search warrant on his house, they They recovered 13,000 stolen items. He had 2 smelters in his house to melt down gold and silver. So he would steal coins and that, and he would melt them down and sell them. But he ended up, he got convicted on everything, but
3,300 burglaries.
yeah, but he well, I don't know. I don't think they pinned every one of them on him, but he.
Sounds like a bunch of.
But his biggest thing was
They cleaned up a lot of burglaries.
See, I was thinking.
Everybody's thinking the same.
you
Anybody
say
got
it.
any
All
open
right.
burglaries I want to clean up?
I think he only probably did 1 or 2, and they gave him 3,300. But
They got him good on like
they
those
got him
two.
good. But he did kill a man. A doctor, Dr. Halberstam, who was a heart surgeon. He came home while he was doing this guy with Welsh was burglarizing his house, and
The doctor interrupted the burglary.
yeah, and Halberstam was brother of David Halberstam, who apparently was an author and a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter. But he was in D.C. and he startled him. So that's where he got most of his time from. But then he escaped for a short period of time. Marshals recaptured him and put him back in jail. But after he was after he was captured, 4,000 people came forward claiming that they were victims of.
So that 3,300 number.
Yeah.
It was low.
Might be.
Yeah.
How old was he?
Yeah.
4,000.
Yeah.
Do you have that answer?
That's a good one, John.
Yeah, he was
Just make up a number, dude.
Yeah.
He's 68.
41.
There you go. Good enough.
And he went by the name Norm Hamilton.
I thought it was going to be Dave Drago.
Or Dan Drago.
He just made up another name.
That's a
We're
brother.
just chucking out names.
Cousins.
Just throwing out names.
Anyway,
I'd like to add one more thing before we.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Just keep adding.
No, this
That's
is
2
it.
more. One. All right.
No, this is it.
JD wants to get back to the funeral home.
No, I don't. We're going.
We all know of the organization, the Backstoppers, right?
correct.
We're familiar with it.
Ron Battelle,
Okay.
the CEO of the Backstoppers, is retiring or has retired. I just want to make everybody aware that the work that man's done as the San Luis County Police Chief, and then managing the Backstoppers. What a great job he's done, and the board is currently looking for his replacement. But I don't know the numbers. I don't know how long he's been.
I thought you were going to tell us who was his replacement. I thought that's cool.
Right.
That you had some inside
He
scoop.
does have an inside scoop. I guarantee he's just not going to tell us. He is the governor.
But at any rate,
Yeah, Chief Patel's
just a
fantastic
thanks
St. Louis.
to Ron Battelle for all the work that he did for the Backstoppers and the many families that lean on Ron and his fundraising efforts to.
That's a
Take
big
care.
job. I mean,
It's a huge.
It's great,
job.
I
man.
don't know. I would.
And you couldn't
Could you
ask for a
imagine
better guy.
calculating
No.
what he's raised?
You know something? He knew my name as a young policeman before any chief that I worked for. I guarantee you. He knew me. He called when he saw
I
me.
believe that.
He said,
Yeah.
"Hey Jim, how you doing?" I'm like, "How does this guy know my name?" And I don't think my own chief does.
Yeah. But at any rate, we wish Ron Battelle. He's still going to be active. I think he's going to have a board position within Backstoppers. But kudos to Ron Battelle and the work that he did for St. Louis County
Cheers
and the
to Ron.
Backstoppers.
Congratulations on your
Great
retirement.
Exactly
Joe
right.
Speece always talked very highly of him, and they actually named him as one of his mentors.
Yeah.
In a previous episode, I know we cut it out that and Joe talked about his father, but in that dissertation of when we asked him about his mentors, Chief Patel was one of them.
Well, you know, Ron Battelle was the first police chief in St. Louis County that came up through the ranks. Prior to that, they were all outside people.
Really?
Yeah, he was the first one. And it really boosted their morale back then, whatever year. But,
That's a hell of a career in
anyway,
public
I just
safety.
wanted to acknowledge Ron Battelle and the work that he did.
That's a good
with
call.
Backstoppers.
That's a good call.
So, anyway, that's all I got, JJ.
You sure?
Yeah, I think.
You got it. What do you got?
Do we have a guest?
What?
Do we have a guest this week?
No, we got to
Yeah.
go to another chief. We got to go to our chief, the man with the mouth, the man that loves to talk and just as entertaining as can be. Go ahead, Johnny, hit that.
Listen, that's a bunch of hooey. That soft and cuddly feeling, we're going to hug a thug, and if we give them, another popsicle and an icy and a day out at the park, they're going to be good. y'all need to wake up. These dudes are taking y'all for fools. These are hardcore gangsters, gangbangers. They'll eat your ice cream on Saturday and shoot up the rivals on Saturday night.
I'm telling you.
We
The
would
guy
be
just-
able to
that's
read a
good.
newspaper
Pretty
through.
good.
I love
The difference between being hired and elected. He's elected,
Right.
and his people love him, and they'll reelect him all the time.
Bet your crime is pretty low in his.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's pretty neat.
So now it's time. Okay, we've talked enough, and now it's time
I got
to get
one
to.
more, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. no,
No,
just fire off
joking.
something.
I'm joking.
Tom wants to
That's it.
recognize his third
Our
grade
listeners
teacher.
love you, Chet.
Yeah.
They're like, when's Chet coming back on? I get asked that all the time.
Right, right.
And now here you are. You fire away, baby.
I was just kidding. No,
No,
I've
we
got
do have
nothing.
one coming up about with the introduction of Gus. You got a good Gus story. But the first thing we want to do is before we get to Gus's interview is a lot of our listeners don't know Gus's fashion. Gus's fashions was off the chain.
Right.
It was anytime you walked in there, you didn't know what you were going to run into, whether it be somebody famous, Gus screaming and hollering at Jimmy, Gus entertaining people. I mean, it was just crazy. Chuck, you got a good story when I told Chuck when he was coming on, and with little notice, I told him, "Hey, we're doing the setup to Gus's," and you had a good story when the governor went into Gus's.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I was assigned to the governor's detail, and mid-afternoon, the Cardinals were either in the World Series or the playoffs. I forget which one. But at any rate, the governor got a call, and he was invited to the Cardinal game. So he said, "Tommy, I don't have any Cardinal apparel. I need something." I said, "Okay, fine." So I took him to Gus's. Well, we walked in, and it was a big mistake. Well, it wasn't a mistake. But at any rate, we walked in, and Gus goes, "Tom, what do you need?" And I said, "I need a jacket, and I need a hat." "What? Is that the governor?" And I said, "It is. He's going to the game, and he needs some Cardinal apparel." And he said, "I got it. Hey, Jimmy, get over here. Jimmy, come here. Take care of the governor. I'm getting on the mic." So he goes, like you just witnessed, to the microphone and stands up. And he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of the state of Missouri is here at Gus's Fashion." And nothing. So he goes, "And let me tell you what he just did," which he didn't do, of course. He just dropped off a check for $10,000 for the inner city youth. Brought the house down. I mean, so
Gus knows how to stir it up, baby.
oh, he got it going. He absolutely got it going. So, anyway, we got the hat, we got his jacket, and Gus, being the gentleman and the generous citizen that he is, he filled the back of the car up with stuff that we ultimately had to return. There was so much. So
Well, didn't the governor say, I got to report all this kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
All I want to do is buy a jacket and a shirt.
yeah, Gus filled this Suburban up with so much stuff that the governor said, "I can't take this. We got to get rid of it. I have to report this. There's so much merchandise there." So, any rate,
That's the kind of guy Gus was, though. I mean, he was.
Tommy Toth. It was Tommy Toth and I, and yeah,
That's cool.
That was good. But Gus is generous. He was good. He is good to this community. I see him at church every now and then. He made shoes for the Pope.
Yep,
Hey,
that's coming up.
It's all coming on.
It's all coming
Oh,
up.
all right.
baby.
Yeah,
All right, I don't
and
wanna blow
yeah,
up.
yeah,
I don't wanna blow
and
up.
actually,
He knows about them. We know about them shoes.
know about
That
the
was
shoes? All right.
It was a fun interview.
Jimmy, did he know you were here?
no, he didn't.
Okay.
No,
It's just a fun. It's a funny interview for several reasons. First of all, and this isn't the funny part of it. Gus is very proud of how he grew up in the city of St. Louis and down in the downtown area, and he's very proud of that downtown area, and he's very passionate about that. So when Gus came, and Gus is a character, and we've all known Gus for a long time, and he's known, for that, just what you've seen on there. He's a flamboyant guy. And even in the interview, he says he's a hustler, and you can really see that in him. He was doing anything he could to make some money, and he was a good dude that had a good heart, and it just came out in the interview. But before the interview starts, just to set this up, and then I think it'll make it more entertaining for you people, is that before the interview starts, JJ got scolded by all of us because the show before, the Jack left a wide shot of JJ just walking away from a conversation, either get a piece of pizza or a beer or whatever he did
In the middle of the show?
Right, but Jack left it. Usually, Jack.
When I get bored, Tommy, with stories, I walk away. I stayed here for years.
Dude, he's good for like 4 minutes, dude, per story.
Just
You
get
gotta
bored,
move
walk
on.
away. All right.
I needed
And then he
beer.
went over and got some pizza or something. Well, Gabe Keithley, our buddy,
Yeah.
actually was watching the show and he still shot at JJ walking, just wandering away. And then he texted us, he texted all of us and said, "When did you guys get Joe Biden on the show?" Because he was just wandering off.
How about that? Now we're getting political.
We're not political, right?
We're getting political.
But anyway, so JJ gets right before before Gus gets here. We're telling JJ, dude, just pay attention. Make sure you pay attention. Can you? JJ, he's on it. He's like, yep. So Gus comes in, and like I said, he's proud of he's proud of what he's done, and he's proud of the city of St. Louis. And he had stuff to tell us, and he did a wonderful job. And Gus sits right here, and as the conversation, and Gus loves Danny. So Danny was sitting where I'm at now, and Gus is right between me. If you're looking on him, between me and JJ, and I'm where you're at. And as the conversation right away, Gus kind of tilts his back to JJ, and you never hear from JJ again. But JJ's trying to pay attention. And so and Gus is a little shorter, so JJ's looking over his shoulder, but he's looking at me. And I can't stop laughing because JJ's in for a long. This is gonna be tough for poor JJ. So when you're watching this, look how hard it is for JJ. He's trying to hang in there so bad. So Gus is bored. You look at JJ because Gus gets in. Gus says now that
Dude, he didn't even. He introduces himself and he just starts. He wants to say his name. What'd you see it? We didn't ask one question. He just went on a tangent, brother. And I actually said something early on. I don't know if they'll be on this, if they'll be cut out or not. But I say something to my mic, and it totally startles me. Looks over at me and like, "Who the hell are you?" And he turns back around and he starts going off on just going, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
It was absolutely priceless. And then because every once in a while, I just look at JJ and he was trying so hard.
Stupid cameras on me. Shit.
He was trying so hard, and I was feeling bad for JJ. And then, like I said, Danny, he was more talking to Danny, right? Because he didn't. And you're going to see one of us gets scolded for interrupting him. I think you guys, everybody knows who that is. He compliments somebody on their shoes. We talk about Pope's shoe at the beginning. He starts out with downtown, and he sets a wonderful picture of how downtown was back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and how booming it was. And very proud of his family. He talks about his family. Talks about how he got hooked up with Jimmy the Midget, which is a funny story. The police are involved in that.
Gus stuck it out in downtown when there was nothing.
Absolutely.
And just hung in there. And yes.
There goes JJ.
There goes JJ.
He's gone. He's gone.
But no, he's a legend in St. Louis. Pro police, loves the police.
Can we get to the interview?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes. Let's go.
Let's go.
And then we'll be back because there's going to be some content in there about Ron Klyer. And then when we come back, we're going to have a little Ron Klyer clip talking about it.
My name is Augustino Vicenzo Torregrossa. I was born July the 4th, 1937 in Little Italy, downtown. All the Italians came from Italy, from small towns. They wind up downtown where the Superdome is and the stadium. That was all Italians, Germans, Irish. It was a beautiful area and poor people. My grandfather owned 2 4-family flats, and people came from his small town in Italy called Temini Amesa in Palermo, Sicily. And anyway, he'd get them jobs, 10 cents an hour, $1 a day, and they brought their families. But it was so cheap, he charged him $2 a month $2 a month for rent. And things were cheap in them days. I'm talking about 1910, 1905. They had to have mills. They had red mills, plastic mills for meat, blue mills for milk, and all of that. So my grandmother, she had 2 stores downtown, one on 6th Street in Cole, and one on 10th Street. So anyway, it was sugar that made the booze, the whiskey. So anyway, I don't know why I keep saying anyway. I don't like that word. But anyway, during The Godfather, when Sonny got killed in The Godfather, they said, remember the Gianola brothers from St. Louis? Well, they're the ones that shot, they wanted the sugar from my grandmother, and she wouldn't give it to them, and they shot her when she was pregnant with twins, and the twins died, and a year later they shot her again, and they crippled her. She never walked. They shot her in the back with a shotgun, and she was tough. I mean, she was a big woman and tough. So anyway, all the people from the hill, the northern Italians, came downtown. They came down to get their meat, to make spadinis, all the zazits, all that stuff. They came from down on the hill. They never had any stores on the hill, maybe little grocery stores selling cigarettes a penny a piece or something like that. They came downtown. And when I was 10 years old, I was an altar boy at Our Lady Help a Christian Church where Monsignor Polizzi grew up, downtown across the street. And I used to be an altar boy, and before I served Mass, I go to Valenti's and I cut the wood up, throw it in the oven, get it up to about 400, and they put the bread in there. They make bread. Oh, Madonna, you talk about bread. It was, the crust was an inch thick on there. And you know, a loaf of bread, 10 cents. They made a double loaf, 15 cents. They made a triple loaf for a quarter. Me, that'd feed the family for a whole damn week.
Not no more.
So anyway, I worked at Valenti's, making the oven. Then I go run out of there and I go be an altar boy and say Mass at 7 o'clock at Our Lady Help a Christian Church. There were more Italian funerals there, more Italian weddings. You can't believe it. On Good Friday, they had a tradition they brought from Sicily to carry the Jesus and the Blessed Virgin out of the church, and they carried it by hand, guys. There'd be about 7, 8 guys on each side. It was, and they had a parade. It went all over downtown, actually. And I always used to see a woman there, Charlotte Peters. She was a traditional person here in St. Louis. She owned a barbecue place on Manchester. And anyway, I used to see her. And they'd have a band. They didn't have no rock and roll band on Good Friday. They had a band. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bing, bing. I tell you, it was really something. So anyway, they go through the streets. They always stop by my grandfather's place. They had ribbons. People put $1, $5. All the gamblers would be in there. I mean when you were kids, your grandmother had them big tables, oak tables with the flowers on it. They bought at Biederman's downtown and places like that. And he didn't have one table. He'd have 2 stores full of tables. It was gambling almost 24 hours a day. Every time a new captain came in, they burned all the tables. They took them out, closed the streets, so they knew who was the boss, the new captain. And anyway, they'd stop. They'd be cussing in there, hollering, screaming, man. Soon as the statue would stop there, they'd all come out, take their hats off, put $3, $5 on the ribbon, you know, and then they go back and start the same bull again, start screaming and hollering, cheating. And I'm telling you, I'm not lying, back in the 40s, a Cadillac was like $3,000. A brick house was $5,000. I seen them guys put $1,000 on a card, playing like it's like blackjack. The name of the game is called Zicaneta.
Zicaneta.
It's an old mafia name brought from Sicily, and I'm telling you, I don't know where they got that money. I think they robbed a lot of stores, because the next day they always came back with more money. So anyway, that's the start. So I didn't like the bakery, and I went on the corner, and I worked for Ross Montleone. He had a butcher shop, 7th Street butcher shop, where they made the special cut of meat, spadinis, sausage, all that good stuff that the Italians had. So anyway, I didn't like that damn place, because I had to sweep the sawdust up every day, and then I had to get the butcher block with a metal brush and get all the blood off of there, and I only weighed about 70 pounds, 60 pounds. That was too much for me. So then I went to Rusciglione Bakery. They're still in business on the Rock Road. They do all the Italian cookies and the Italian wedding cakes. Anytime, any place. It's a wonderful place. And I start working for them, and I waited on people with ice cream, and it was a beautiful place. And where else did I work? Let's see. I went next door to that, and there was Shalufo Fish Company. Oh, Maron. Let me tell you that story. They never had refrigeration. They had stalls, and they put the ice in the stalls and put the fish on top. I had to get them 50-pound blocks of ice. They were already in the stalls, and chop them up with an ice pick and spread them all out. And anyway, they had a big basket of snails. And these people would come in and buy the snails by the pound. And every morning I had to go and get the damn snails off the ceiling, off the walls with a broom. I fell off the ladder, and boy, it was getting rough, I'll tell you, just to try to make a buck, you know what I mean? But anyway, there's a fish called bacala. It's a white dried up fish. It's really good when you eat it, but I used to get, when the bacala came in, I put it in front of the store, and it was pure white. In 2 minutes, it was all black.
Ew.
You know what it was?
What?
Flies. Hundreds of flies. Oh my God. And the fish came by Railroad Express with barrels. And them barrels really stunk. I'll tell you, I tried to make a buck, and I was rough, I'll tell you. So anyway, a lot of Sicilians, a lot of Northern Italians came downtown. It was a nice thing to see. So anyway, when they start tearing the houses down, I was at McBride High School, the Jesuits.
Greg?
What? Marinus!
Marinus.
The Marinus, I don't know. They didn't like Italians too much.
What was your address, Gus? Where'd you grow up at?
928 North Cole Street.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I came home. All the houses were being torn down for the Superdome and the convention center. I was looking for my house. They tore it down by mistake.
Oh, no.
They tore it down because they were tearing them down like crazy. And they tore it. I called my dad. I said, he was at work, the poor guy. I said, we ain't got a house. I said, where are we going to sleep tonight? Well, he got a hold of the company. I don't want to mention the company, but they were tearing them houses down like crazy. And So we stood by my grandmother's house until we got a house. I moved on. From there, I moved on Osage and Grand by Merb's Candy.
Oh, yeah, Merb's.
Yeah, and I went to St. Anthony's Church, and they had some nice restaurants there, Big Al's, Smith, and they had an Italian restaurant where Hank Slay used to go with Georgia Frontier from the Rams, Giuseppe's.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Giuseppe's.
Merrimack and Grand.
Man, they give you a big hunk of meat with the soup and the patata, the potatoes. Madonna, beautiful, beautiful.
I got
I
this
think
right
that's-
here. Hold on a second.
that's the-
What
that's
does
the-
Maroon? What's in America in English? What would Maroon?
Maron means like Christ or
Okay,
something like
Jesus
that.
Christ, like
But
Jesus
I
Christ.
got an Italian dimension. I can't answer too many questions. Yeah, but you
What's
know,
a hell of an introduction?
we had a.
So where are we at now? Like 12? What are you, 12 now?
When do we get to Gus's?
Right. How did
What
you
year?
start Gus's? Now you did mention that that your
Well-
family was very big into helping people out that were disadvantaged and they wanted to keep people cheap.
Yeah.
Was that a reasoning behind opening your discount? Because you did sell discount
Well, you know
clothes.
what? Let me tell you what happened. I'm glad you asked that question. I want to tell you how it worked. So anyway, when I was 17, I bought a pickup truck, and I went all the way through the projects. I had about 4 or 5 trucks, and I told my workers, now I don't have refrigeration. You see these grandmothers with 5, 6, 10 kids unload the tomatoes and the okra and the corn because it ain't going to last. And that's what they did. And I had a good rapport with the black community in the city of St. Louis. So my mother, after I graduated McBride High School, she says, you can't do that. That's for old people selling produce. So I said, okay. I went to work for Mercantile Bank. It's U.S. Bank now. On 10th and Locust. I went to work there. I was a typist, 96 words a minute.
Yeah.
And I was good at it. And my first check was $54. I can't. Here. I told
You're
my
rich.
mom, look, $54. I'm making $300 a day selling all this stuff and all this stuff. And I tore the check up and threw it at her. And I went to be a barber, hairstylist on 6th and Locust. And anyway, I met a lot of good policemen. Great. There was a lot of traffic downtown. I mean, at 4 o'clock, you couldn't move downtown. They had the Union Market right there. It was where they sold produce. Buy any kind of cheese in the world. I mean, it was a wonderful place. And a lot of mobsters hanged around there.
It's all right.
Yeah, I know it's all right. They were my cousins. What the hell? They were my customers. What the hell?
Hey, it's all right.
I mean, I had to make a living too, you know. So anyway, I had the Trailways bus station across the street on 6th and Lucas. Lucas, yeah. The Greyhound bus station. I was behind the unemployment office. You needed a haircut to get a job or shave. We took care of you. I mean, we did some business. And if you came in my store, my barber shop, from the bus station, and you looked like you almost was homeless, I said, what did you need? They says, well, I like to get a little job. I said, well, are you a barber? You need license. No, I used to cut my grandfather's hair. Get in that chair. I used to give them all the sailors and soldiers and all that. That's what I did. I didn't give a darn about license. You know, let the guy make a buck.
Right.
And there was a guy that came in my store, and the Irish, there was a liquor store next door to me, and he was going to a funeral. When the Irish go to a funeral, they always bring a fifth of whiskey. So he came in my store. He says, he was hanging. I had coffee in that. I says, I have a cup of coffee. And he talked like Regis Philbin. He was from the East Coast. And I says, well, what do you need, anything? He says, well, I got off the Greyhound bus. I'm going to my uncle's funeral. And we always bring something. So he went next door and bought a 5th of 1843. But before that, he had an old Timex. It looked like it was pawned 22 times. And anyway, he wanted to give me the Timex for the wart, for the whiskey. I says, no, sir. That's a privilege right there. So I never did see him anymore, and I didn't care. And there was a lot of things happening downtown.
Now, when you had, from the lore, I don't know these stories for sure, but Jimmy, that ended up working with you is that where you met him?
Well, you know, I had a disability guy. He weighed 300 pounds, and there was a sergeant. He's dead now, and he used to give me a lot of tickets in front of my barber shop. You want me to mention his name?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
What's his name?
Robinson.
All right.
And he was a sergeant, and he was trying to put the make on Jimmy's mother. And Jimmy was always home. She treated him like a king. I mean, he was something else. So the sergeant said, Gus, get this kid a job so I can.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, I said, well, okay. He said, I won't give you no more tickets. Because
That's how Jimmy got hired at Gus's?
yeah.
Parking tickets, huh?
Yeah, and I paid for them tickets because them guys that came in, I was called the Hoodlum Barber, and I'll tell you why. Because I had a lot of guys coming in my store, my barber shop, and anyway, I wind up meeting the Hoodlum priest, Father Dismas Clark. And we used so anyway,
Was it a
let's get
Hoodlum
back
priest?
to
The
Jimmy.
Hoodlum barber and a Hoodlum priest.
Yes, yes.
They made a movie about the Hoodlum priest.
Yeah, Father Dismas Clark.
Sure.
Matter of fact, I was going to bring Don Mary's picture. I was cutting his hair. He was 92 years old, and he just died 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Don Murray
The actor that played him.
played the Hoodlum priest.
Right. Yeah.
You remember that?
Sure.
You was a little kid.
There was a bunch of city coppers that were in that movie.
Yes, yes. They're always in a movie, them city cops.
It is a movie.
Yeah, but let me tell you this.
So Jimmy, that's how you met Jimmy. Did you know Jimmy
Yeah.
could sing back then like that?
Yeah, he could sing.
He
He used to bum at Blueberry Hill. He sang with all them guys. I don't remember all their names, but if you remember, say some of the names.
Do we have a clip of Jimmy singing?
No, no, we're going to save that. We'll introduce that clip before the show when we set it up.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
So anyway, my friend Sergeant Charlie Marnotti,
Okay.
he drove the mayor around, and he used to take Jimmy home from Missouri Bar and Grill, cause Jimmy drank. I mean,
I've seen it.
he drinks. So anyway, Charlie Marnotti picked him up. The mayor's, Vince Shamo
He was Vince Shamo.
was being interviewed at KMOX building downtown, and Jimmy pooped in the back seat of the car.
Of the mayor's car.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, what do you mean, all right? That ain't. I mean, it ain't right.
So he,
But
so he poops in the back of the car, and then Charlie's got to go back and pick the mayor up?
He's
shit in the
waiting
backseat?
for the mayor. The mayor was coming out of the building. He drove the mayor home with the poop in the back seat. So anyway,
Did Charlie get transferred?
Yeah. See, that was the last time he drove the mayor.
Is that his last day on the mayor?
he was a good guy.
He was.
Yeah, he poor guy died of
How long did you own the store, Gus? From when to when?
probably in the 70s.
Okay.
No, in the 70s. But let me tell you about Jimmy.
Go right ahead.
They used to call him up. It went viral that Jimmy, he was a short guy, real short, and I didn't like when they called him a midget. And is Jimmy the midget there? I want to. Did he shit in the? I mean, did he in the mayor's car? I mean, I got calls all day from radio stations like these guys. It was driving me crazy.
Why did Jimmy do it?
Well, he was drunk.
Is he a Republican?
But he was drunk, and he said that I didn't poop in the mayor's car. That was my belt. My belt stunk, you know.
Oh, gotcha.
So anyway, I got him in my store as a shoe shine boy. He didn't know how to shine shoes. They felt sorry for him. You know, the mobsters come in, they shine. They give him some guys give him $50. Some guys give him $100. It was like a status symbol. So one day this Marine comes in. You don't mess with a Marine. Let me tell you, from the East Coast, you come off the Greyhound bus. He says, I need a shoe shine. He said, I want you to get all this old wax off, and put some new stuff on. So next door was a liquor store. I went next door and I got some lighting fluid. I told Jimmy, you put that all over his shoes and you light it up. Well, Jimmy put it on his pants, his socks.
Oh, no.
And he lit him up. He
lit the Marine up?
Yeah, oh, my God. You should have seen the mess. Oh, my. And all the Italians were in the shop laughing. You know. It was so funny. But anyway, that's some of the stuff. And when a guy came in to interview Jimmy about pooping in the mayor's car, he got mad at me, and he threw, you know, them shoe shine brushes. They weigh about 5 pounds, the big ones. He threw it at me and broke an $800 window. Yeah, he broke an $800 window. But you know, when people leave somebody something, they leave money, car. I wind up with Jimmy.
Oh, when his mom died, you have Jimmy.
Oh yeah, he lived on in Hyde Park. He lived on Salisbury Street, and I used to pick him up with a Cadillac in the morning, you know where Crown Candy is in that area. And his mother say, hey, Dago, quit blowing the horn. You're waking up my neighbors. Well, they were shooting all over the damn place. I wanted to get you. The reason I used to pick Jimmy up, he'd take a bus down to the barber shop, and on the bus, these guys would beat him up. I mean, black eyes and everything. And, you know, when people are little, they take advantage of them, you know. And I volunteered to take him. And a lot of policemen took him home, you know.
Yeah. Ron Clyer used to be
Oh,
friends.
Ron Clyer. Let me tell you about Ron Clyer. This gal, this gal used to come by my barber shop and look in, and I had a guy built like a rocket, and he was my salesman. He was a born-again Christian. She had crutches and boy, I got a pair of shoes just like them. They cost a lot of money, bro.
You like those guys?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for noticing.
Kevin Klein. Yeah.
Appreciate you noticing.
Yeah, well, I got about 90 pair of them. But anyway, what I want to tell you, this gal kept looking in the barber shop. So one day, she straightened up. She wasn't crippled no more. She was getting Social Security is what she was doing.
Oh, yeah. I thought Corey Bush stopped by.
So anyway, you can say what you want. This is my show. You can say what you want.
I love it.
No
Yeah.
We are digging this. You made it very simple on us, Gus.
Yeah. But anyway, she used to go by this guy and look at the racks of clothes, and he was so Christian. He used to put because she wore everything down, and she was about in her 20s. He put his hand in front of his face. He wouldn't look at her and all that stuff. So who do you think she winds up with? Jimmy.
Oh, my God.
Jimmy had game.
Social Security. Ron Clyer is the one that got him married, and Ron Clyer is the one that got him divorced. I says, Jimmy, she lived in a government place where you press the button, the gates open, and all that fancy stuff. and Jimmy moved in with her. So anyway, I said, Jimmy, what'd you do on your wedding night? He said, I watched her have sex with her friends. I said, are you nuts? I said, you watched your wife have sex with your friends, her friends, not your friends. And then when he used to come to work, she used to cook for him fried chicken. So anyway, about a month went by, I started smelling something bad in the back of the barber shop. He never ate that fried chicken. He was afraid she was going to poison him. So I told Ron Clyer, and Ron Clyer said, we're getting rid of her. And that's what Ron Clyer did me a favor. I think that was the only time he was married. And she got him Social Security, SSI. She got him everything. And I had $10,000 put away for him. Me and not Harry Pollahan, Dennis Pollahan.
Danny Pollahan.
Yeah, and he used to put it in the bank for him. I used to give him $500 a week, and he'd go to Missouri Bar, and he spent $700 a week. They padded his bill, and I told that guy, I said, you know what? God's going to get even with you one of these days. I said, you're padding that bill. There's nobody could spend that kind of money here. And Jimmy hardly worked. I used to go I got him a place to stay at the Plaza Apartments,
Plaza Square.
Plaza Square. Then I got him a place to stay close at Jefferson Arms. But I had to go get him at 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon because he'd be blind drunk. You know what I mean? But that's Jimmy for you. And he's a good kid. He's 70 years old last week. And I had him since he's 14, 15 years old.
You have a birthday coming up yourself.
Yeah, July the 4th, I'll be 87 years old.
July 4th.
I was born at 5 o'clock on 8th and Cole by a midwife. And she told my mother, $5, that's all it cost me to get out of that mess. But she told my mother, she says, about 5 o'clock I'll be back and we'll take care of whatever's coming. And that's what happened. And I remember a lot of things I remember the Second World War being over downtown in Little Italy. My God, they taped their horns on their cars. They come out with pots and pans. All their kids were coming home, their sons, and some of them weren't coming home. It was a shame. When I was a kid, I used to watch the bicycle from who brought the notices to the people? What was it?
Paul Revere?
No.
He's not that old.
No.
The Telegram Company.
Telegram Company.
Yeah.
And I used to watch, my God, what house are they going to go to?
Wow.
Yeah.
What house? And the woman would scream and holler and cry. Oh, my goodness. It was really something. And downtown was really a part of Italy. I'm telling you, today you can go buy a villa in Italy for $100,000, stay there 7 years, spend $100,000, 40 acres, but they're 300-400 years old. The kids don't want them anymore. They want to go to Germany for jobs. They want to go to Brazil, Argentina, United States. They don't want them houses anymore. But I'll tell you, my cousin here said he just finished The Sopranos. But it was like
That's Danny.
It was like The Sopranos downtown. It was all mixed up. And I want to tell you about the Hill. When I was 16, I started bumming on the Hill when I graduated 17 from McBride with all my buddies.
I know this is going to be hard. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. But would you say that the area you talked about back then, downtown, were Little Italy? Was the Hill going on at the same time, or did it kind of
yeah.
change? So,
The Hill.
There was two Italian areas.
They
at the
used to
time.
call, they called us the Hatchets, the Sicilians, and they called the Northern Italians the Pigeons.
And they were on the hill?
They were on the hill, Northern
Okay.
Italians, yeah. That was a nickname. It was nothing
Right.
sarcastic or anything.
Yeah.
But,
So the pigeons and the hatchets. The hatchets were downtown, the pigeons were on the hill.
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And I want to tell you one thing. All the houses, all the $1 million, $5 million houses were built with bricks from the hill. They had places on the hill where they made fire bricks. They call them fire bricks. They'll last 100 years, 100 years. And that's what it was noted for, besides the fine restaurants. They got the finest restaurants on the hill. John Tony, the Bartolino brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saraceni brothers. Man, they're opening a new place, and I forget what it was.
You said Big Bend and 141.
Yeah, Big Ben and 1-4. And they're keeping the place at the Drury Inn. They got music. It's a happy family.
Yeah.
It's a happy place to go bumming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gus, how did you, moving on, how did you get all the rappers to come into your store down at
Well,
Gus's Fine Fashions?
They knew about my store. I had a lot of jewelry, all them chains, beautiful chains at LL Cool,
Yeah.
Ice-T, Ice Cube, Jamie Foxx, the Boys in the Hood, Flavor,
Two Live Crew.
Two Live Crew, Salt and Pepper, Too Short, Spice One, Hammer, MC Light, Kumo D,
Two Live Crew.
Two
Already
Live
said.
Crew. Wait a minute. My phone is ringing.
Oh, that's good. Oh, here,
I thought
let's
it
hear
was John playing music.
Answer your phone.
that. Gus's phone is ringing. I love your ringtone.
That's Mark Cusimano, my cousin, calling me.
Yeah, I love Mark.
Yeah,
Cusimano.
I
Tell
can't.
him
Mark, I'm busy. But
I do that.
but anyway, I had high stuff. I didn't have no junk. You know?
At the store, right?
Yeah, I had jackets that cost like $2,000, $3,000. When you were kids, they like Home Depot. They come out with a jacket with Home Depot on it, or Tide, or stuff like that, and they had it all over. And the guys bought all that stuff, and I sold it to them. And I sold them the #1 clothes, and LL Cool. He come out with Troop shoes. They were red shoes, Troop, and he had that Cadillac emblem on his jerseys and all that stuff. But he was a good guy. But I got pictures of Jamie Foxx. He was my #1 guy. Very pleasant, very humble, very nice. And I got a video with Flavor. We were always supposed to meet in Florida, but I got a pinched nerve in my neck, and Jamie Foxx wasn't going to be there because he ain't feeling good. But
And then you were friends with Tommy Lasorda?
yeah, Tommy Lasorda used to come in my store all the time. You know what he'd do? He'd go around the country, and he knew these poor families. He would get the size of the shoes for their kids and clothes, and I would send it to them. I don't mean one pair of shoes. I mean, we're talking about $4,000 or $5,000 a shot every time he come in. And then he get the nuns, he get a bus from Anheuser-Busch, and he get the Pink Sisters, and he put them on a bus, bring them to my store, and they get tennis shoes, all the Cardinal stuff, and but I paid for it all. He got all the damn glory, and I paid for it all.
Are you saying he was a cheapskate?
Well, he had a guy like me in every town.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stories from Charlie Gito's that I had heard that he might not be the most spendthrift person in the world.
Yeah. Well, you know, he used to be a Northern Italian, and he didn't like me because I was a Sicilian.
Okay.
And he used to tell me, I'd jump over 100 Sicilians to shake a hand of one Abruzzese. That's a town in northern Italy. I said, you know what? I know where you live. You live at 2516 Maximum Street in California. I'm going to burn your damn house down. I used to tell him that all the time. And he was modest. He had a one-car garage. His wife, Annie, just died.
Yeah.
And he had a son, Tom Jr., that was an artist out of this world. Drop-dead handsome kid. And he had a daughter that was beautiful, too. And anyway, I went to pick him up at the airport, and he was dressed in a beautiful jogging suit, but to bring him to Anheuser-Busch to do artwork, but the poor guy never got the job, you know. And he passed away, Tommy Jr.
Why did you close Gus's downtown?
Are you kidding me? Downtown right now on 12th and Tucker? You know how many people get shot there and killed?
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me? But I want to tell you one thing. We got a good police department. We got a good chief. And I want to tell you, we got to get the aldermen to work with the police department.
Yes.
That's what we got to
100%,
do.
yep.
We need help. We need help. I was raised downtown. That's my territory. I was raised there, and I seen it grow, and I seen it not grow. We need aldermen, and we need ministers. When all the ministers used to come, the black ministers used to come with poor families in my store. And I used to give them clothes for a shoe to go to school and all that. They don't do that no more.
Yeah.
There's no communication.
No community.
And Gus, your store was, and I always equivalated it to the Evening World newspaper, because it was a place where gangsters and policemen all got along.
Oh, yeah.
They would all meet in your store, and everybody got along.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was fine.
It was crazy.
And you were very tight with a lot of policemen over the years.
Oh.
But who was the guy that you remember the most as far as the policeman?
This guy here, the salt of the earth, he was real kind to everybody. You know what I mean?
Who's he talking about?
He's talking about me, JJ.
You sure?
Stop it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're going to have him move on after this one. We're going to say who's his second most favorite.
All right, who's your second?
Who do we talk about?
Marnotti.
Marnotti.
Taft.
Clyer was my
Taft.
buddy.
George McDonough, I think he hung out at the store a lot.
Yeah, George. That was his post, my store. Mokwa put him in there. Yeah. And Moke was a wonderful man. He married Mark Cusimano and Frank Cusimano's sister,
Yep.
Ellen. And he's very religious. He goes to church every day, and he says the rosary every day, and he works out. He swims a lot, weights, and he looks terrific. And he bumps with Lashak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like to get Chief Moko on the show.
Work
We'd like to
that
get him
out
on
for
this
us.
show.
Well, I don't know how we could do it.
Hey, Gus,
We'll work on it.
Gus, I haven't asked you a question yet.
JJ's
I just want one question. There's a pair of shoes that's glowing in front of us right now. You want to explain those things?
Well, let me tell you about those shoes. Those are
Can I wear them after the show?
no, you can't wear them. They're going. I'll tell you where they're going. Those shoes are imitation shoes. I was the biggest Reebok dealer in the country, and that's the same shoe. And the corporate office in New York called me. They said the Pope is coming to St. Louis from New York, and his feet are all swollen, and I want you to fix up a pair of shoes for him and do what you want to do with him. So anyway, you know, when people own stores, they put a few fake things in them, you know, like Louis Vuitton purses.
But you don't know any of those people.
Cell phones.
Well, you know who got all the Louis Vuitton purses? I never sold them. I give them to the nuns, the nuns, the Secret Service wives that ate at chemos, all them kind of guys, you know what I mean? Lift your trunk, Gus. Me, they take coaches, all that stuff. Louis Vuitton, I didn't care. They didn't cost me that much. So anyway, I thought I seen these big trucks outside. I mean, not these little trucks we got. Them things were look like RVs.
Yeah.
They came from all over the country, and they closed the street up, and they came in and watched me put the golden shoestrings on the shoes, and I did it, and there was a priest that was my teacher at McBride, religious teacher.
What's his name? Because we have some people in the audience from McBride. What was the teacher's name? You remember him?
Well, these guys are younger than me.
We have some that aren't.
Well, his name was Beal, religious teacher.
Augie Beal?
Yeah, that's him.
There you go. We do have one.
Now let me tell you a story about him.
Got a new Huggy.
My store was named Gus's Fashions and Shoes, so he moseys in, and I says, "Sir, this store is 99% hip hop." I says, "I don't have anything here for you." He says, "Well, my name is Gus, and the owner's name is Gus. I just happened to stroll in." I says, "Well, go back there. I got Dickie pants. I got some black pants. You're a priest and all that." So anyway, we got a good rapport. Me and Mark Cusimano. He lived in East St. Louis, Father Gus. And me and Mark Cusimano got a hold of him and gave him twice a week a 5-star dinner with the other priests and the nuns from East St. Louis at St. Patrick's Church. The school was tore down. We went over there for dinner one time. They didn't have air conditioning. We paid for the air conditioning, me and Mark Cusimano. We bought air conditioning for them people. So Father Gus wrote poetry and all that stuff. He happened to be in my store. And they wanted me to bring it to across the street from at the cathedral, bring the shoes and follow me up there. I says, "No, I'm going to let this priest bring them." And he brought them.
These were for the Pope.
Yeah, these are duplicates. Now, Father Gus passed away, and he's like a saint. I mean, the poor guy had diabetes. He went blind. He was happy. Oh, he was a wonderful guy. I'll tell you. He was so good looking. I said, "Why don't you be a preacher? You could have been a movie star." He says, "I got the calling," and that was it. So anyway, I'm downtown at this church. It's across the street from the old city hospital. It's a Slovakian church. It's over 150 years old. Does anybody know the Nipatun or something?
Nepomuk.
Nipama.
Nepama.
Yep.
My in-laws go there every Sunday.
Yes. And there's only about 10 people going there. They don't have a priest. But you know who helps out a lot? A policeman, a sergeant. Bill Brush.
Yeah, great guy.
He's a great guy. He drives the chief around all the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, a guy gets out of his car. I says, "That looks like the Archbishop of St. Louis." He's got a Polish name. I only know Italian names. So I says, "What are you doing here?" He got a not fancy car, 25-year-old Ford car. I said, "What are you doing here?" He looked at me. I got a big black Cadillac. He thinks I'm going to put a hit on him or something. He's carrying his little briefcase. I got pictures of him in my phone. I said, "Do you know where you're at? You're in the ghetto, brother." I said, "You're in a bad area downtown here." So anyway, I was bringing these shoes in to the church. People were taking pictures, and I got a letter from the Pope.
Right here.
Yeah, I got this. Nobody gets it. That sign, that's papal paper. If you look at it, it's got the papal crown on it, and it's from the secretary of the Vatican, and he gave me that as a thanking him for all I did for him. But let me tell you.
He got small feet.
Did he wear the?
No, these are just duplicates.
But did he wear the shoes? He actually wore the
Yes, he
originals.
wore the shoes.
Nice.
He wore the shoes.
Right, but they're small. I'm just saying they're small.
Well, that's, I mean, yeah, I didn't want to put the big
How
one.
tall was he?
Over 6 foot. Yeah. He was hey, this guy was a movie star, this Pope. He's a saint now. Yeah, he did a lot of plays when growing up in Poland and stuff like that. But
Those are superstar shoes right there. You put those on, you're styling.
so anyway, listen to this. Don't interrupt me.
You want me to cut his mic off?
That they're going to do that tonight at the
Debates,
the
yeah.
debate.
The debates.
They're cutting mics
Yeah,
off.
they are.
Yeah, but anyway, don't cut my mic off. But anyway, he seen me carrying his shoes, and he says, "What are these?" And I told him, the whole story in '99.
Yeah.
And he says, "I want you to bring them shoes to the cathedral, the new cathedral. We're going to put them in the museum because we don't have nothing. They got a chair that the Pope sat in when he was at the center there.
Okay.
But it was the biggest indoor audience that was ever made by. But nobody came out to see him. I had 1,000 T-shirts made by my cousin, Dave Passanisi, with his picture on it. I gave them away. It was a thing for me to do. And the homeless were selling them for $2 a piece, and I was giving them away. But the point is, I don't know the traffic, who was in charge of the traffic, but they told people from Collinsville and East St. Louis to park your cars in East St. Louis and walk over the bridge.
That is crazy.
I mean, that was really, it broke my heart. Yeah. But it was the biggest audience, indoor audience he had.
Yeah.
And he's a saint now. And when he was raised, let me tell you a little story about the Pope. When he was raised in Poland, Krakow, he was raised next door to a Jewish family, and he was playing with this Jewish kid all the time. And the Pope's mother used to run him away because he wasn't Catholic or Christian. And they grew up together. And that Jewish family followed that Pope in every country he went to. And when the Pope died, he was the only one stood by his grave in the Vatican.
Wow.
His whole family turned Catholic, but he still turned Jewish. Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a lot of Jewish Italians. Yes. But anyway, he wants them shoes over there, and I'm going to bring them over there because it's been 25 years. I'm going to clean them up a little bit.
Yeah, it's the anniversary.
Yeah, I'll let Jimmy shine them up.
Gus,
Don't let them.
you've come a long way from being the Hoodlum Barber. But before we wrap up, we're in Columbus.
I got a lot to talk about.
We're going to have to have you back on. We're going to have to have you back on. Our batteries are wearing out on the
Well,
cameras.
I'm not wearing out.
Oh, you've never worn out. But we're in Columbo's Cafe and Tavern.
Oh my God,
studio.
this was a hot spot.
That's what I want to tell. One story about Columbo's.
One story.
Yeah.
Are you
I'll
kidding
take a
me?
couple.
There's a lot of
let's go.
stories about Columbus.
Let's hear 'em.
All the mobsters used to come here. When my grandfather closed up downtown, they all came up here, and they had big games. They didn't have no nickel and dime rummy games. They had big
Poker games?
poker games. People came in from Kansas City, Chicago, all over the place. This was the spot.
Right here.
Yeah.
Probably
and
right where we're
basement,
sitting.
too?
Probably in the
Pardon
basement.
Did they play the cards in the basement?
No, in the back room. Nope.
No? Oh.
Upstairs in the back room.
I wasn't allowed here.
Yeah, right.
I was an altar boy.
right.
But the food is always good here. It's a good location. It's a family warm place.
Yes.
And a lot of people came here. They didn't know what the heck was going on down here. It was none of their business anyway, and they didn't give a darn.
Nope.
They got good food, great hospitality, and that's what it's all about. And that's what we got to get crime off the streets. We got to do it. We got to do it right away. We got to talk to the ministers. And these older people are getting this 80-something thousand a year. What are they doing? They got to do something.
Damn right.
I mean, my God, when's it going to happen?
We're trying, Jimmy. We're with you, Gus. We're with you. We are
Yeah.
so
He just
with
called you
Gus.
Jimmy.
Let me tell you.
Sorry. I am so sorry.
Let me tell you something.
Now he's mad at me.
I had a lot of good policemen. I cut their hair. A lot of policemen that were going to be policemen. They didn't have money for high-tech shoes. It was a famous. I give it to them, and they told me about it. I gave policemen suits for their kids to graduate that they didn't have. They didn't make no money. It was I had a customer. His name was Frank Dobler. His name is in the federal building in them stones. I just got done cutting his hair, and he adopted 2 kids. He had a house being built in Canada, and it was raining, summer, and the police, his corporal of the traffic, he was a traffic, kind of got on him because he was getting a haircut. There was no business. Started at 4:30, that's it. It's when the people got off of work, and I heard bang, bang. I left the barber shop. I ran down. There was a Firestone store there. There was a Tomboy Market and Union Market, and he was laying there with part of his brain sticking out. And everybody's scared. Everybody's scared to touch him. So I took my barber smock off and I put it underneath his head. He was going to retire. He says, Gus, I can't take this no more. And it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that. That's one of my best friends there too, as a police officer. And then I'm in a family. I'm going with this lady, and her daughter's a police sergeant. Her name is Michelle Woodling. She's a sergeant.
Know her very well.
Yeah, everybody knows Michelle. And I want to wish her a happy birthday. It's her birthday last week. And she just had a baby named Sadie after her mother. And half Lebanese. Yeah, I can tell you about the Lebanese too. Man, I bum with Bishop Shaheen.
I want you to tell. You're big into the Bocce Club too, correct?
Yeah,
you love the Bocce
I've been
Club.
there all my life.
Yeah, and a lot of policemen are in there too.
Oh my God, they live in there. Yeah, yeah. And it's
Tommy Bottini.
Yeah,
He's a
Dragos. Yeah, and there's a lot more retired policemen too. But we got to give respect to the policemen and the police department. I mean, we were scared of the police when we were little.
Yeah, not anymore.
My God. I mean, today it's just crazy. They don't, and they think when they're going to get these criminals. I was at Walmart last night, and the guy's got a pouch under his sweater there. He's loading up with cosmetics, just loading up. And he didn't have a car. Somebody dropped him off. Yeah,
That's terrible.
I mean, it's tough.
Gus, we're going to have to reschedule you for another show, too. Would you come back?
Am I going to get paid?
Oh, no. When we start getting paid, you'll get paid. But do you think you could bring Jimmy sometime?
No, he's since he pooped in the mayor's car, he thinks you're going to ask him about it, you know.
He's out.
Yeah, he's out, but
All
I
right.
might get him in.
Gus, we appreciate
Absolute
you coming
legend.
on.
And
a
we-
legend on our show. We've had several legends, but you're right at the top, Gus, and we're going to
Well, I
say
appreciate
goodbye.
you
We are going
guys.
to have you back.
I appreciate what you are doing for the community and talking about different things
Yep.
that's happening in St. Louis.
Supporting police, supporting
And
law
supporting the police. And I'll try to get Mokwa down here because he's a natural talker, a beautiful man.
Yes.
And, you know what? I text O'Toole. I got a lot of pictures. He was at Chemo's.
Yeah.
And an old picture that's 30 years old. He says, "Bar, them were the good old days, guys."
No,
They were.
And you took care of the police too. You took care of a lot of the policemen
Always.
used to come down to your store all the time.
Yeah.
And we, whenever we needed, good, nice pair of
Oh,
shoes.
was you a policeman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Oh my God! Why didn't you tell me that?
I thought you assumed it.
I thought you just owned this place.
No. No, because over the years, just the policeman relationships that they've had with you and the fun that you've provided all of us, because that store was just off the chain with entertainment, with you leading the pack, and just all the people that you welcomed into that store.
All the football players, all
Absolutely.
the
Rappers,
Cardinal
football
players,
players.
rappers, people in general.
Yeah.
They came from Petalta, Illinois, Gillespie, Illinois.
Yeah.
Every Christmas they have a bus there, and I have a back room with all the stuff the kids would buy. And I knew how to hustle. There's no hustlers anymore.
Oh, yes.
They want everything free.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make a buck. We knew how to do it. We had ethics, work ethics, how to make a buck. Today, we get a check every month. That's it. We ain't going to go any farther. We get that check, and that's it.
And some of the times you see some of the stuff that was on the news or the St. Louis Magazine used to come down, and you guys would put on a show for that, and just how fun that would. The whole atmosphere was a fun atmosphere. There was never any problems on there. I'm sure you got stolen from a lot, but you didn't bring it to no attention. You didn't make a big deal out of it.
Me?
Jimmy,
my customers, my workers all stole from me.
Yeah, that's a shame.
They all bought cars and houses. Yeah, that's who stole. Yeah, but anyway, what's your name?
Tommy.
Tom what?
That's Tom.
Tommy Sawyer. Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer.
That's my actual name.
Well,
I go by Tommy.
Well, that's a beautiful name.
Hey, Gus,
Neither
I'm over
Lebanese
here
or
too.
Italian.
I'm a policeman too, Gus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's still a current policeman.
Right.
Yes,
He
sir.
runs mobile.
You run mobile?
I do. And actually, when I was a pro, young rookie cop, I went in your store and bought my first 2 pair of boots, black boots from you.
High-techs.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But did you see about the rappers? What are you? Any pictures you?
We're gonna
put-
get
We're
them
taking
on.
pictures and going to put them on the website.
Man,
We're
I've
going to put
been-
them on our website.
Well, how long is that going to be?
Week.
A week.
A week. I'll pick them up because I got to go be interviewed by the.
Yeah, you're going back to the club.
Guy from the Post Dispatch, Di Palermo. What a name that is. Yeah, and he's interviewing me over there.
Stand by before you leave though. But thank you, and Jack. That's a wrap with Gus.
All right, there you go. The chaos that Gus brought to the set was very welcomed. I was entertained. Jimmy, were you entertained? JJ?
I'm not going to say anything.
You,
I'm going to stay out of
you
this
got
one.
through it, baby. You got through. I was so proud of you. I was so proud of you, man.
He's a character. That,
He
I was
likes
proud of you.
JJ, he
oh,
likes you.
I don't even know me, dude.
Oh, he didn't even know.
Yeah,
He
he's a
looked
good-
at me. Are you a policeman?
He'll remember you.
He's funny.
Look right at me. You a policeman? Yeah. You own this place? No.
He didn't know Italian. He goes, "You're a policeman?" That's
So
funny.
in there, he was talking about Jimmy's divorce and how Ron Clyer was involved in some way or some form. But earlier, John was doing his producer John on the Street, and actually, we're going to be doing that next week with Ron Clyer's police collection. But Ron talked about Jimmy.
The short guy.
Talked about Jimmy the short
Jimmy the
person.
short guy.
And this is how it went.
Got divorced. He, I think, remember Cregan? Dan Cregan?
Yeah.
Well, Cregan handled the divorce because he was an attorney and a policeman. And so they're getting ready to go to court, and the judge tells them, "You don't have to bring him in court." He goes, "Oh, he wants to come, no big deal." So Jimmy shows up dressed like a Green Beret again with all his medals.
Oh, boy.
And he gets on the witness stand, and the judge looks at him and says, "How are you doing today, young man?" He says, "Very good, Your Honor."
Who the fuck is that guy?
"Are you in the military? Or were you in the military?" He goes, "No, why do you ask?" Then the judge goes nuts, "Get him out of here."
Oh, man.
And then he married another small person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking to be on Washington Secondary, and I walk in the bar, and here's Jimmy and this woman, and I knew he got married, so I walk up there to the two of them, and I look at him and I go, "Hey, Jim," and he goes, "Hey, And he says, I want you to meet somebody. I said, oh, is this the little woman? Oh my God. When I said that, she went crazy. What do you mean, little woman? And she starts going crazy on me. And I go, I didn't mean it like that. I mean,
like a generic the little woman.
She didn't take it that way.
No, apparently not.
And they ended up getting divorced. That was the divorce case.
That probably had a lot to do with it.
Not to mention, Jimmy might be a little difficult to actually be around all the time.
And there you go.
Good. That's good. That'll be good.
JJ, you are so ready to go, aren't you? He's going to rip them things off, and he's out the door.
No, I'm good.
All right. Tommy?
What else we got?
Good work, man. Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed it. Again.
And before we leave, again, the big toe needs to get back here because I'm not good at this.
No, you did fine.
You're doing good. Yeah.
But I forgot Corby Campbell. If you need security for your business, for your neighborhood.
If Tom Walsh wants to kick your ass.
Right. I would have. Yes, exactly. JJ might want to call him. Just get some protection for yourself. Get some personal protection.
There's a door right there. I'm heading that way.
CampbellSecurityGroup.com. You can get on their website when your business needs some security. You need personal security for some
neighborhood
executives. Neighborhood security.
Right.
Any security issues, really. If you need a plan, if you just need something, Corby's really good. And get a hold of them at CampbellSecurityGroup.com. And then if you don't need security, his partner, Chris Saraceno, has Chris's Pancake House.
And the Docket downtown.
Yep.
Docket downtown. Any of the Barbarinos restaurants. Awesome food.
Yep.
Great
and
food.
As always, communities that support law enforcement are safer places to live.
There you go.
Peace.
Perfect.
Well done.